What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. My name is Nicole and I'm an addict, and my sobriety date is July 13th of 2015. Before we get into this video, you guys, if you don't mind, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. That way you will be made aware of every single time I go live. For those of you guys that are new to my channel, I am going live Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, every Monday through Friday. What we're doing is we're having recovery support group meetings. So if you would like to join, come hang out with us. On Fridays, we specifically do MARA, which is Medication Assisted Recovery Anonymous. So I hope you guys will join me tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for our recovery support group meeting. So today I'm going to talk about mental health, you guys. I'm going to talk about my personal mental health. And I don't really do this a lot because I don't want to say the wrong thing, or I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. But a lot of you guys have been asking me about my mental health and how I'm coping with this quarantine. And so I thought I would share with you guys how I'm getting through and what I'm doing and what's helping me. So this is kind of going to be like a 3 or 4 part series where we go through different examples and I share with you guys different things that I'm doing to cope. So, but before we do any of that, before any of those episodes come up, I'm going to share with you guys about just my mental health in general and give you guys like a good idea of where I'm coming from and what are my issues, what do I deal with on a daily basis, okay? So, I have been psychologically evaluated 4 times. Okay, by the same doctor and psychiatrist. And so I have been diagnosed with general anxiety disorder and major depressive disorder. Okay, those are the 2 things that I have been diagnosed with. And of course, I have substance use disorder. So along with my mental illnesses, I have addiction problems. All right. The reason why I've gone to so many psychological evaluations is because the first one I went to, I only had been sober for like 5 or 6 months. And they were thinking I might have bipolar. And so they wanted to follow up each year as my recovery, as I stay sober longer, to rule out anything else that, I might be having problems with. So they just wanted to make sure. So that ended up being ruled out, and I ended up just being diagnosed with major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder. And I do utilize medication for those. I take 0.5 milligrams of Lexapro and 150 milligrams of Wellbutrin, and that's what I take for my mental illnesses. I take Suboxone 2 milligrams for my substance use disorder, and those are the only medications I take at all. So now that we have that out of the way, I'll take you guys back to when I really started to realize that I was struggling with depression and anxiety, okay? And so it was really before I was even introduced to drugs. So at about 13 or 14 years old, I had really been struggling with my body issues and the way I saw myself. When I would look in the mirror, I would see a girl that was like 500 pounds. And really, I was like 150. I was gorgeous. I was perfect. And so from a young age, I always struggled really, really hard with the idea that I was like morbidly obese and that I was going to never, ever be able to lose that weight. And it was something that became really hard for me, you guys. Like everything was centered around my weight. Okay, everything that we did in my family, because my dad is also very weight conscious. And so this started from a young age where my dad would say things like, you need to get in shape. If you don't get in shape, you're not going to ever find a man. You're not going to get married. Nobody's going to love you. And listen to me, please do not think that my dad is a bad person. That was just my dad trying to help me, because I have a binge eating disorder. I have binge ate ever since I was a little girl. There was a time where my dad had to put a deadbolt on the refrigerator with a chain so me and my sisters wouldn't get in and eat all the food because we were eating my parents out of house and home. And I'm being serious, you guys. Like, I've always struggled with eating my feelings, okay? Long before I ever got on drugs, I was utilizing food to cope with my feelings. Now, I still have this struggle today. I've gotten my addiction under control, and now my addiction to food or my binge eating disorder has flared its nasty head. And that's been one of the hardest things for me, is to watch myself on camera and see myself gaining weight, knowing it's because I'm binge eating, and then not being able to control it. So embarrassing. I'm not embarrassed of sharing anything, really. But if this is the one thing I'm embarrassed of, because it's a total lack of control for me. It's a place where I struggle the most. And so it makes me feel weak. It makes me feel like I can't accomplish it because I have struggled for so many years since getting sober with my weight. But I have to be honest that it was long before I ever used drugs. I have always struggled. And so now that I'm sober, and I've been sober for almost 5 years. In July, I'll have 5 years sober. The first 2 years, I was in shape. And then something happened where I started crossing over into this obsessively eating, and eating when I was celebrating, and eating when I was happy, sad, mad, eating when I was depressed. Okay? So, and I'm just being totally transparent with you guys, and we'll talk all about these separate situations, my depression, my anxiety, and then my binge eating. And I will make separate videos for each one of those, but I'm just trying to like generally go over it with you guys right now so you understand like what I struggle with, what I go through every single day. Okay, so on top of that binge eating, that has just gotten flared up since we've been on quarantine, because I'm in the house now and I'm bored, and one of my triggers is boredom. Okay, one of my triggers for my drug addiction is boredom. One of my triggers for my depression is boredom. Okay, and so that's why I've been trying to keep myself busy doing my videos and focusing on my sobriety and focusing on helping you guys, because if I don't know anything at all, I know that when I help others, it helps me. And so that's been one of the major practices that I've been utilizing this time. Now, I worry about everything. My anxiety is at an all-time high because I'm worried about coronavirus. I'm worried about my husband getting coronavirus because he's at work every single day, you know, serving the public. And so how am I dealing with those feelings? Well, I'm eating my feelings, and that's another thing. So, or I will obsessively dive into making content and doing my channel, or I will overly worry about my son to where I am, you know, it's just a lot, you guys. I want to tell it all to you in one video, but it's a lot. And so basically what I'm trying to tell you guys in a nutshell is that my mental health I have been struggling. I've been struggling, you know, but I think that we all are struggling, and I think that's okay. And so that's why I wanted to talk about it today on this video and kind of get you guys' feedback. Like, how are you guys dealing with your mental health? How are you guys dealing with, you know, anything that you're going through today? What are you doing to cope with that? So this video, even though I got into a little bit too much with my binge eating, I want you guys to understand, like, this video is just the beginning of a series of videos where I will pinpoint what I'm struggling with, and we'll talk about it, you know, and I'll tell you guys what I'm doing differently, because This is me being accountable. I'm coming here and I'm being accountable. I'm telling you guys, like, these are the things I'm struggling with. I'm struggling with my depression. I'm struggling with my binge eating, and I'm struggling with my anxiety. I first got put on mental health medications when I was 14. I also got put on phentermine when I was 14, which is a legal stimulant that helps people lose weight. I don't think I've really talked about this on my channel, but that's how I realized that I loved stimulants. And that's one of the things I think that kind of catapulted me into my addiction with methamphetamine. But I was only 14 when I got put on phentermine, and I loved that shit. I would eat, it was prescribed to me to take a half of one. I would take 1.5 just to feel that zoom feeling. And so I'm sure this is a lot of information packed into one video, and I'm sure you guys are trying to digest it all. But this is what, I wanted to share with you guys my mental health journey. And I'm on this journey. Like, I'm not even halfway finished. The only thing that I know is that I cannot use drugs no matter what. And so whether I'm depressed, anxious, or eating myself out of house and home, I'm not going to pick up dope. And so that's one of the things that you guys don't have to worry about. But I want to dive deep into these issues with you guys, and I want to share these things with you guys because I have time to do that, and because I put so many of this information in my live streams, but those live streams are an hour long. So some of you guys are maybe looking for help with mental health or looking for help with binge eating, and you're like, well, I can't watch an hour-long video of Nicole ranting and raving about something else, and then she talks a little bit about mental health, right? So I want to focus these videos on my mental health. So I hope that this kind of just gave you guys a glimpse into my life, my mental health, and how my mental health journey started. It started when I was 14, when I really started struggling, and I've never really gotten to complete hold over it. And so that's what I'm working towards now, is getting a hold of my mental health, getting my binge eating disorder in check, and sharing that with you guys. So I got my recovery. So now we're moving and we're going to start tackling this mental health. And I want to do that with you guys. So if you're down to go on this journey with me and tackle my mental health and get this shit in check, then leave me a comment down below and share with me how you're doing with your mental health and what do you guys want me to talk about. Is there certain topics you guys want me to share? Because I am actively working on my mental health and working on a diet and exercise that will help me with my binge eating so I can get that into control, because I don't want to be out of control anymore. I want to have all aspects of my life in check, not just my addiction recovery. And so I want to be properly balanced. And so I want to help you guys balance too. So leave me some comments down below. Let me know how you feel about this video and what you guys want to hear from me next. And be on the lookout for another mental health update. I will just title these like my mental health, so that way you'll know that they all go together, and I'll make a playlist too. If you guys are looking for any videos to watch, I'm going to link some playlists down below and in the cards, so that way you guys can get to know me a little bit better. I have a 4-part series all about my addiction recovery, and it goes through my whole life. So I'll link that one too. All right, I love you guys, and I'll see you guys tonight at 7.